Roll call. Everyone's here, sans Liz. Adoption of agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda?
Second.
We'll approve that by acclamation. So I guess technically this is our last meeting, and I'll get to the first agenda item, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for helping out and being a part of this again. And if you would like to continue, I would please get your applications in the next couple of weeks, and we'll just continue where we left off. I'd hope you all would continue to be part of this committee. Hopefully we can do a lot more stuff next year. Sorry, my dog just seriously just opened the door and came in here, so that was really loud. So first off, approval of minutes. I have, I believe, 4 minutes sets that I sent you guys that needed to be approved, and they are for 7:21, 8:05, 8:18, 9:27. So I am going to motion for the approval of the minutes for those dates.
They're not very detailed.
Yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't. But like, you know, it's kind of hard to get too detailed with a 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
So.
And they're not supposed to be very detailed from what I've read.
We can figure that out moving forward. I mean,
because it's kind of hard. Like if I was a member reading the minutes, I wouldn't know what the meeting was about, I guess, unless you watch it on YouTube.
Right. No, I get that. I mean, I think some of my minutes aren't very good. Anne's minutes are really good with what she does. So I'm not necessarily a good note taker.
But that's actually, we need to figure that out, because my understanding is they are not supposed to be very detailed.
Well, I mean, from my understanding, the conversations aren't super detailed. But
it doesn't have to be that detailed, but just like what was discussed and the dates and the results. I don't know. I just seen minutes much more informative, I guess.
Right.
Well, that's a thing for next year to figure out, because that's a legal thing.
Yeah, we can look more into that and kind of tighten that up if need to. I mean, I don't try to get too procedural here. I mean, I want to be creative and stuff, and we've talked about that a while back, but you know, whatever we need to do to make sure that we're buttoned up, I'm cool with.
Are you going to be chair next year too?
Are you going to let me, Trang?
Do I even have an option, Josh? I'm only going to come back if you're going to be chair. That's just
I'll be chair, I guess.
All right. Maybe
if they let me. I guess the board's got to let me.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, did I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Can we approve by acclamation? Any objections? Okay, cool. So second, I started writing a report. We did this last year, and which I'll present on Saturday. I am going to reach out to you guys individually just to get your thoughts on a couple of things and maybe some feedback on, you know, on some things to include. So I'll shoot you an email. Sorry, I've been like so crazy busy these last couple of weeks, but I'll shoot you an email after this meeting sometime this evening and ask for some ideas on what to put in there. Actually, it'll probably be you three, Anne, Trang, and Joel, especially with your involvement with the Valley Fair and stuff. So be on the lookout for an email from me on that. And it will just be simple. I'm just going to look for, you know, I'll ask you guys for a couple sentences of something. So, and then lastly, Trang, thank you so much for, you know, handling some of this event stuff. I really appreciate it. And we're going to be doing a further push on the craft fair. Trang's got a contact with the vendors, so we'll be posting some stuff on the Facebook page for that event. And I'd like to get some of that stuff shared to other pages too, which I'll help out with now that I got back on Facebook and stopped being so antisocial. So sometimes you just need to take a mental break, you know? So I'll be touching base with you guys on that. And literally I mean, that's really all I have right now. I've got to go because I've got another meeting I've got to do. So it
Double
just
book
never
yourself
stops.
again, Josh?
What's that?
You double book yourself again?
Sorta. Yeah. But no, it's all good. Will you be attending the AGM train?
That's this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I should be.
Okay, just curious. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
At this point. Thank you for your approval on the minutes and for picking up my slack there. I really appreciate it. And actually sent me a lot of minutes a long time ago. So I wrote them up and didn't send them along to the committee. So now that we've got that, we're going to be golden. I'm not sure what to do about this meeting. I guess we could write the minutes for approving the minutes.
Well, we can write about how we discuss.
Yeah.
If anybody wanted to join the communication committee next year and that you're going to chair it, and I don't know about the event, the holiday event coming up.
Holiday event, holiday craft fair.
Yeah, which is going to be fantastic.
I need to send you all some of these numbers from the Facebook events. It's really impressive how much reach we're getting on some of these things without any kind of like promotion. It's I'm not sure what's changed because I've looked at them compared to past events, but yeah,
it's the sharing aspect of it has changed because I know the difference when we did the Halloween trunk and treat event, even though we had that planned for a while, but as soon as you created that Facebook event page and we were able to share it, it like doubled the amount of participant. Because before well, actually more than double. I mean, from what Sam was telling me, they only had 6 volunteers. 4 of them was the staff. It was Sam and Michelle and Alex were going to be one of the card trunk. And as soon as we started sharing the event, even though it's been on the EBlast every week, we went from like 10 trunks to almost 20 within like a few days. So definitely, I believe that helped a lot. And the participant and even I don't know how they've been in the past because I kind of wish we would keep records of these events and the attendees and all that information, which is what I would like to do starting next year, hopefully, just so we can track how well we do things and how well we communicate things to the community based on how much participants we get. And I started that with the Valley Fair where I went back and emailed the vendors that came and just kind of asked them some questions of what did they think compared to their other vendors? Were they happy with the support they got from us, the community, and the Sun Valley staff, and what suggestions they may have? And granted, I only got 5 vendors to come out. I did get 3 of those. And I was also curious to see how much sales they actually generated, if it was worth their effort and time, which is something I would think would help us next year once we plan that, to see if we got enough vendors, if we did not, and just kind of use that as a foundation to build on our events. But from what I've heard, the Trunk or Treat event was the most attended event in a while. John, I don't know if.
Yeah, I'd heard the same. Yeah, it was. I'd heard a lot of community feedback that it was very successful.
Yeah, so that was good, and I think that was part of the communication. As part of us kind of getting the words out. I even kind of had an interesting conversation with a lady. I was putting out the new signage for the holiday fair. I took out the old ones, and whoever did Gate 13 removing the signs, I don't know if that was you, Ann, or not, but thank you. Those were gone. Yeah, so I was planning on putting the old one, taking out putting the new one in, taking down the old one, and noticed that some of the signs were taken down. So whoever did that, thank you so much. Kind of delayed on that part because of the weather. So I've been waiting for it to be dry so I can put the signs up. But what Alex and I came up with as far as the new sign, if you'll notice, they are laminated. I mean, even though we've used the paper one before, there's not as much just because I was trying not to do as much plastic because we can't reuse those signs. So the ones we did put up and the one I put up today are laminated, but they're will be sturdier and it'll hopefully last better. But I would like to come up with a long-term plan, which is something I was going to email you, Josh, or the board, as far as having, and John and I kind of talked a little bit about this when he was visiting, some kind of insert where we can have a permit at the mailbox place where we can put event signage on there without it getting wet or destroy or damage, and just kind of switch it around. And when we don't have events, we could also use those inserts for information just for Sun Valley, either how to sign up for the EBlast or have an EBlast if you decided to print those out, be there as a placeholder. So there will always be a usage for this, whether it's Velcro to tape it back there or whether it's magnet, depending on the mailbox. But that was something I would love for us to think about and do for next year, just so that, because we live in a very wet environment, and it would be saving plastic, which we don't have to do. Those laminated signs, we can just insert it and then remove them and insert it and then remove them. And since we do own the mailbox, I don't see why we couldn't do that going forward.
Yeah, so I know previously that they had I don't know what you call it. It was a big wooden thing that was like a community board that they had one of them that they were moving around the test, and it was just kind of, I mean, I don't want to knock it because I know people put time and effort into it, but it's like it was a big thing. And almost, I made a joke that it kind of looked like, like one of those things where you get your head lopped off with.
You mean like, why was it? It was an issue, or I don't understand.
No, I don't know what they ended up doing with it. I just think it was like, it's just kind of, it doesn't fit in that area really well. It's just this giant wood thing that the stuff's on. And one thing I thought of would be, since we own the boxes, I'm not sure how hard it would be, but if maintenance can do this, is if we created like some kind of holder that
that's what I meant, like a holder.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like on the top of the mailbox, or at least on the side of one of them, close to the trash can, like where people kind of not congregate, but a lot of people go to obviously use the trash cans because they get filled up so quickly. But if we created something that's like a holder on the side that comes off, or on the top that it has a protection on it and that you can just slip or slide the piece into, that would be kind of cool. And I've designed stuff like that for my job, and I could probably come up with a way to have something like that fabricated, and then get with maintenance on it, but just something that's not like intrusive or that like is really like too noticeable. But obviously when you're there getting your mail, you can see that, hey, these announcements are there. And then
the reason why I brought that up is because when I was hanging that up today, a few people approached me and go, "Oh, did you lose a dog or did you lose a cat?" She was concerned. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just posting a flyer for our event coming up in Sun Valley." And I'm like, "Oh, if she noticed," which I have to get back, but the address wasn't listed on there, which is our oops, but it just says Sun Valley. And she's like, "Oh, but you can get the detail on our Facebook event page." And she's like, "Oh, I don't go on there. I don't do social media." So a lot of our clients, I believe, that we reach were through those flyers, posted at the mailbox, because there are going to be a lot of people who are not on social media. I would say a big chunk of our community members are not. And so I think that's a great way, if we wanted to inform our community of the things that are happening and going on, that we need to reach those people as well. and not rely on just the social media aspect of it.
Can I
But
just
yeah.
say the EBlast has been great, and a lot of the excess has been cut out, and I
Mhm.
think that has helped as well, because
Yeah.
it's so much easier when you look at the EBlast to see pertinent things. So thanks for that. They're great.
Thanks, Ann.
You're
I
welcome.
my goal with that is so whenever someone from admin gets in there and is going to take on the EBlast, I'm not sure who that's going to be. I don't know if Deb's going to do that or Jessica, or it could be someone else in the future. But I mean, I'm still working on it. But what I want to get to is a point where it's like you don't have to be a designer, and I know Trang, you do stuff for the school. I think it was, it was just kind of little too much. So I think the more simplified it gets, it'll be less like daunting for someone to go in there and actually try to do it. And we'll create some standards for that, which I'll get with you guys on. And I have, before she left, Lauren sent me a document that I'll send it to you so we can take a look at it. But it's like requirements for the managers and staff to like, hey, if you have something for the EBlast, this is how you need to submit it. And that way, you have those standards set up. You don't have people sending like, 50 megabyte images that someone's going to have to mess with, or the copies sent in all kinds of weird. I want to get it to a point where it's like copy and paste or dropping an image and it does its own thing, and there's a lot of stuff like that and our paperwork and our documents that would be great to fix up and make less complicated. But that's something we'll have to kind of talk about in the future and plan that out. But yeah, let's talk about the mailbox thing soon and what we can do there. There's another thing that I want to attack too, since we're just kind of talking about random stuff, is like the notifications about fireworks and those signs and stuff like that. I would like to get a set thing that we can have produced at the sign company that is hard and has an attachment like maybe Velcro or something on the back, like a piece of, I don't know, MDO or something like that. And then we can adhere those to those sandwich boards. And that way nothing's going to fall off, nothing's going to get wet. And then we have those signs for use in the future where it's just like, we don't have to get them redone or anything like that, unless something really bad happens to them. But
Yeah.
no fireworks is going to be an important one. And then
Right.
even like if we have like a nicely designed event sign that has an arrow to it, so it's like, it can be used for multiple things. But that's another thing I want to try to take on. But
And just to
yeah.
tie with that, Josh, Alex and I looked at those signs because we used it a lot for the trunk wise. A lot of those plastic container is so damaged and torn and ripped, and it's something he wants to talk to you guys, or I don't know, to the board, and having either replacement or trying to figure out, because you can tell they're just ripped apart. And he had made those big signs and they were already like ruined within a few days after a heavy rain. So
Yeah.
whatever that we're using, some of them were fine, but more than half of them were like, it just destroyed the signage that he created. And so that ends up being a waste of money.
Yeah. So this municipality we work for, they, they're always putting, it's like a downtown like Fairhaven, and they always have stuff going on. So they have these set sandwich board signs that they put out for like parking and detours and stuff like that. And what we did was find some basic plastic holders that looked nice. And then some of them have insets on them that you can put your print or your piece. And then some of them you can just like attach stuff to. And what we did was we had these things printed on outdoor material that is like like an eighth of an inch, and it's sturdy and it's weatherproof. And they just go and set these things up and put them on the sandwich board, and you don't have to worry about the wind or the paper flying around or any of that kind of stuff. So, we can do that. But it looks like train left. But yeah, I should probably get going at this point. So is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Does that all sound good to you, John?
Yeah, sounds good. I think it's
Okay.
something we could address in the new year.
Cool. Awesome. All right. I don't know if Joel is still there, but I'm going to need a second for this adjournment. I guess that can come from you, Ann, right?
Yep.
Can I motion? I move to adjourn this meeting at 5:55.
Oh, wait, he's,
Joel's seconded.
yeah.
Second. All right. Thank you so much, John. Let me know if you need anything for AGM from me. I'll definitely be able to get down there if you guys need extra help or whatever early. So
Sounds good.
I'm like right down the street. Well, across the way, but yeah.